Hey, this is Scott of PhotographyBonanza.com. Today I'm talking about practice in photography. There's a comment saying practice makes perfect, and I believe that's true for the most part with anything, and especially photography. The more you do, the better you'll get. Of course, there's a little bit of extra stuff to that, but definitely practice. I wanted to go over that and probably break this up into a whole bunch of different videos once I think about it more. But just some basics I'm going to talk about. Basic things about practice and photography. You want to learn about the ISO, aperture, and shutter speed on your camera, three most important settings, and the camera equipment itself. If you don't know your equipment, you can't use it properly. A good way to get started is just take a walk somewhere in a park, somewhere nice, have one camera, one lens, focus on those two things so you can better understand your equipment. Beforehand, it's probably a good idea to read up a little bit. If you don't know that much, just read your manual, skim through it, see any settings that you're not familiar with, and try them out as you're outside, walking around. Just get a better feel of your equipment. It's one camera, one lens. Another good thing to do is focus on some type of framing style. Of course, there's the common rule of thirds, and then golden ratio, which is also pretty similar to that. But you focus on a certain framing style to better understand how it works and how it looks after where you stand, how to best achieve that certain look to an image. Focus on controlling depth of field in your photographs. That means aperture priority mode, just get started. Let the camera control ISO, that's not important. We're just focusing on that one aspect. Take note of your focal point and the distance from where that is, because that will control your depth of field. Take note of your lens properties. If you're using a 50mm lens, or using a super wide angle, the depth of field properties will be vastly different with those different lenses. Focus on controlling shutter speeds. It's really important. Various situations, if you want to photograph some type of movement, you either want to freeze the motion or have some type of motion blur in there for the effect. You also want to find shutter speeds that are best to avoid camera shake. Everyone has the camera, they slightly move it as they're framing. You want to avoid that issue because it just doesn't help your results. Focus on that and learn shutter speeds that work best for various lenses and situations. Look for subjects that will work well for dealing with shutter speeds and learning about shutter speeds. Birds, cars moving. If it's a windy day, take photos of trees and such. There's so many different possibilities. You don't have to go elaborate with it. Moving water is a good one too. And be sure to bring a tripod if you want to try some moving water photos of longer exposures. Focus on one style of lens, either a zoom lens or a prime lens. They have different properties, and it's good to understand both types as long as you have. Actually, prime lenses are more rare these days, but if you want to focus on that, it's a good idea. So that was just some basics of practice in photography, some ideas to consider. If you have any of your own, feel free to post that in the comments. Like I said, I'll probably be making more videos focused on practice because it's so important. I just want to get this started here. Thanks.